Hello, Heart and Soul podcast team, collective. Hello, Mariah.
Hi.
Hi, we are on our series all about the book, The Big Leap. And today we're specifically talking about our own big leaps and how to stay in that zone of genius and giving some tips and tools for people so they understand. Would you like to know more?
I mean, obviously.
Okay, well, let's dive in.
Welcome to Heart and Soul, the podcast where we empower and inspire women to lead their best lives, harnessing the power of their hearts and souls. We are Mariah
And Monique.
your hosts and guides on this journey of self-discovery and personal growth.
In each episode, we will dive deep into topics that matter most to you, from self-love and confidence to career development, relationships, and everything in between. We believe that every woman has a unique strength and inner wisdom waiting to be unleashed.
Join us as we cover insightful heart and soul-centered topics and interview incredible women who've overcome challenges, chased their dreams, and found their true purpose. Through all of this, you will discover practical tips, strategies, and real-life stories to help you navigate life's twists and turns.
For whatever season of life you're in, this podcast is your safe space to explore, learn, grow, and possibly even laugh and cry with us. So grab your headphones, maybe your favorite drink, and we'll embark on this transformative journey together.
With heart, I'm Mariah.
And with soul, I'm Monique. So on today's episode, we're continuing our series on the book, The Big Leap, which has been so transformative and helpful for each of us in its own way to move through our own self-imposed limiting beliefs to living from our zone of either probably excellence to our zones of genius. And I'm just curious, do you have a story that you'd like to share with us about a current situation you're going in where you maybe have an upper limiting belief?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. In which area of my life? Because I could reference
Dealer's
many
choice.
right now, right? So yeah, absolutely. I feel like I really enjoy getting to talk about this with you all the time.
Yes.
Because you get it and you understand and can
Same.
call me out on when I am hitting an upper limit.
Mm-hmm.
So recently, I've been working really hard on my businesses and building them and growing them. We bought a building, we moved into the building, we renovated it. Like all of that was a big leap,
Huge.
to think 5 years ago that someday we would own a building, that we would renovate it to be exactly what we wanted it to be. Like it's been a series of very rapid big leaps in
Yes.
the last 5 years. And so I had made a kind of a statement, a blanket statement to my team, to my family, which is always the first clue that something big is about to happen is when I declare nothing more is happening.
Oh.
We're going to hold steady, peeps, right here. I'm doing nothing. I'm not opening anything
Did they
new.
laugh?
Yeah, there's like, if you know situation, like, sure, Mom.
Okay.
Yeah, Mariah. Okay. See how long that lasts.
Yeah.
Well, it's like something within me when I say those words, or I'm never doing X. It's like then you can rest assured I'm most likely doing that thing and probably soon. So I had kind of made this declaration in the fall of this year. I mean, I was tired. I needed a break.
Well,
Fine.
you had done a lot
Yeah,
in a
it'd been
short
a-
amount of
it'd been-
time with the
been a
remodeling.
lot.
Yes.
But I had a dream that I'd been sitting on for a long time that I'd to open a retail store
Wow.
within my building.
Wow.
This was after I had years before declared I will never do retail again. And my husband declared that you will never be in retail ever again. And somehow I had a nagging desire
Pull. It's a pull.
that just excited me and gave me a lot of wonder and joy at the thought of it. And I just it wasn't time. It wasn't time. I could respect and recognize that dream like wasn't ready. But the stars had started to align that perhaps it was the time. But then I made the declaration, no, we're not.
We're staying still.
Staying still.
Yep.
Well, I'm grateful for my daughter in this case because she called it out. She called out to me,
I
"Hey,
love that.
mom, I can't stop thinking about this thing that you want to do,
Mm.
and I really think there's no reason we shouldn't move forward with it, and I want to help you, and I'm, I'm confident that we could do it together." And I was like, "Oh, damn it! Like now you've done it. Now I have to do it. Like, what's in my way? What am I worried about? What's holding me back?"
Upper limit.
And I realized it was a lot of fear and anxiety
And
and
you had always said you
worry
weren't going to do it again.
about a retail
Yep.
scenario.
Yep.
This is a little different kind of retail than previous life, but that said, like it was going to involve a financial investment of investors. There were several things that I was just like, I have been avoiding this because I know once I dive into it, I'm going to have to break through a lot of difficult things. Like I'm going to have to confront fears that I have, anxieties I
Interesting.
have.
Okay.
And so I said to her that day, okay, I'm willing to start peeling back the layers of the onion because it means something to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't deny that I am excited about it.
Yes.
I'm going to start peeling back the layers of the onion. So I committed to that. And so that's what I did. So this was in the winter and I had the time and the space to
Mm-hmm.
look at it. So I just started having conversations with people. I started learning about the industry that I was interested
Yes.
in. I just one day at a time. I thought if this is meant to be, then I will continue to enjoy what I'm doing and the pursuit of this goal, and the universe will unveil to me the next step. It's been unbelievable. It's just nuts how this has unfolded. Okay, I feel like this episode is airing at a time when I can share what this
Oh,
is
please
because we'll
do.
be fully
I'm
in
waiting
it
over
and
here.
public with it. But I wanted to open a bridal gown store.
Aw.
I have loved the fashion industry
Oh,
since I was really
yes.
young. I would pore over Vogue magazine and bridal magazines. In fact, when I got married, when I got engaged, the first question I asked my fiance, my now husband, was, "Can I go buy bridal magazines so I could just pore over the pictures of dresses?" Um, so, anyways, I hope that when you're
Passion
listening to
there.
this, that you've already heard this announcement and that we're in
Otherwise, the
full
first.
swing. Otherwise, like we're still working on it. But alas, I had to learn the industry, and so I just again kept taking steps forward. And so we went to. I took my daughter and some of my team members to Chicago for the National Bridal Market as a fact-finding mission. We went there under the premise of an up-and-coming business, and we were there to learn. It was amazing. It continued to just fuel like I'm in the right place. This is what I want to be
Mm-hmm.
doing.
You're aligned to do
And I
this.
was aligned in so many
Yes.
ways from my
Yes.
experience in the industry. And I kind of had, told the team coming back from that, like now I do feel like I have to make a decision. I've peeled the layers of the onion back to the point where I'm either going to decide to push through this limit and pursue this now, or I need to move on to a new dream. I'm going to need to find
Or take a pause.
I mean, apparently that wasn't on the table, but so I came back and then that whole week afterwards, I would think about not doing it
Mm.
and I would get sad
Oh,
and I'd just be disappointed and
right.
bummed. And then I would think about doing it and I would be excited and jazzed and my mind would just be racing with ideas, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting with that and I was like, I have to listen to this. Like, this is the universe. This is me recognizing that, like, what I need is to push through this next limit. I need to bust through my fears and my worries and anxieties and my past experiences
Yes.
with running a retail
You have new
business.
tools now.
I am a different person than I
Yes.
was then. This is a different scenario.
You own
I
the
am not that
space.
person.
Yes.
This
So
is a
many
different
things.
situation that I feel that I'm being called to do this. And then I thought the next thing, which really changed it, and I feel like this I learned from you. I heard in my head, like, I will always bet on myself.
Oh, yeah. I always
I
say that.
really got this from you. And I
Yeah.
was like, okay, like I could let someone else take on this dream.
Right.
I could let go of it and someone else will surely pick it up because
Of
that's how
course.
dreams flow.
Yes.
There's another book for us, Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. We got to
Ooh.
do that one too.
Okay.
But I realized, but I would bet on myself because I am 100% within control of my journey.
And you're so aligned to do
And
this.
if I don't bet on myself in this scenario,
Yes.
based on every time I peel back a layer of the onion, I just see a, even more evidence that this is the right move.
Right.
Um, and so what the hell? What do I really have to lose? How good am I willing to let it get?
And
What
yes,
if this is the next best thing?
I
It's
always say
certainly something.
too, and this reminds me, I'm sorry to
No,
interrupt you,
no.
but like, if not now, when?
Yeah.
Right?
What am I waiting for? And when I
Exactly.
looked, then I suddenly looked at how the last 2 years of my life had sort of already aligned itself to give me the space,
Right.
opportunity, and time to pursue this. I'm like, oh, it's like I've already been setting this up to happen unconsciously. And that unconsciousness of it is part of living in your zone of genius
Yes.
and transcending your upper limits. Like I was just naturally, because I've been working at this, living that way. And so then things didn't have friction, they brought joy and ease. And also in the process, like I'm just not willing to compromise my joy or ease within the rollout of it. And so if it takes a little bit longer, if we need to do it a different way, we lean into that. We're just unfolding it one step at a time from a place of positivity and not negativity. So
I
yeah,
love that.
am I thinking about whether I'll hit the mark of when I originally wanted to open? I'm not sure, but I'm not going to worry about it.
Right.
It'll happen when it's meant to be. And
I
I
love
I
this.
cannot tell you the number of signs that I get on a daily
Mm-hmm.
basis from the universe that I am on the right track. It's uncanny. And now other people are seeing them. Like it's just like, "Oh wow,
Mm-hmm.
there it is again."
Mm-hmm.
So, but it really was a journey of like stopping, looking, evaluating my upper limit, recognizing like I had a choice in the matter. I owned this. I was willing to bet on myself and try something new, go on to the next thing. And people say to me like all the time, like, I don't know how you do it. And like, I don't know how I don't.
Right.
And that's what I've worked to. Like, I don't know how to live any other way anymore, like, than to continue to pursue
Mm-hmm.
the next best thing,
Mm-hmm.
the next thing that will bring me joy, bring me abundance. I mean, I have one wild and precious life. Like, I, I don't know how I don't. So, and yes, I do still sleep. I do spend time with my family. I have worked on all of that.
Well, you do
The
have
old
help.
me didn't know how to
Yes.
do that.
Right.
New me is getting better. And I have taken all the things from my zone of incompetence and excellence and found other people who are really good at those things.
Yes.
And that had been that work I've been doing over the past couple of years is to put other people in the right places to support me so that I'm available and able to take this next leap. So
Congratulations for outing
I'm
yourself.
excited. Let's see what happens.
I can't wait
How
to go
good
in
could
it.
it possibly be? Like it's gonna be
Amazing.
fun.
It's gonna be
So
amazing.
there you go. That's what's going on. Well,
More to
share
follow.
on social
More to
about
follow.
if you follow me, you'll start getting updates about all of this and what's happening. But
This reminds me of speaking about like fears and upper limits. So over a year ago, we were on a mastermind retreat in Italy.
yeah.
And for life coaches, we coach people one-on-one. We do one-on-one mentorship, and that's what what I had been doing all the time, other than our mastermind groups, up to that point. But the majority of coaches also have something known as courses or
Mhm.
workshops. And I had done a couple workshops, just one day intensive. I had run some retreats, and I was very happy with the outcome. But I was always like, watching other people like, they do this course thing. How do they do that? And I am not, my natural inclination is not to be a writer.
Mm.
So we're in Italy asleep.
Well,
And
trying to go to sleep.
that's true. Other than watching our memes, which I had very bad phone service, but whatever.
Yeah, when Monique and I travel together and we share a room, mostly we giggle
Yes.
for like
Yes.
hours
At night, we're not
and
getting
we
sleep.
can't shut our brains off with ideas spinning, but the best things come out of those
They
times.
totally do, and this is one of those things. So was in my mind, but it was not in my mind enough to be like, I'm going to do this next, right?
Yeah.
It was kind of like just a sense of like wonder. And all of a sudden, just this thing downloaded, and you had fallen asleep, and it was like it outlined a course. Just like, this is how it's going to be. This is how much it's going to be. This is like all of the things about it. This is like everything. Like within like a second, I saw it all. And I like wanted to wake you up because it was like I was trying to go to sleep and I wanted to tell you. And I was like, I'm never going to remember all these details. It was so much detail that just
Yeah.
downloaded on me. And so I was like, okay, I'm just setting a deal with the universe. If this is the way it's meant to be, you're going to remind me in the morning. So we wake up, we start talking, and then I'm reminded, oh, I had this thing happen last night.
Yeah.
And I start telling you about it. I had this course called Heartbreak to Hope because I went through a really bad heartbreak and I had to like work through the process, take the steps. And I believe I can, well, I was told I'm going to create this course. It's going to be a 6-week long course. I'm going to take people through the course and help them go from heartbreak to whatever their version of hope is. They don't have to be dating, but they certainly can have hope that like new love or however love looks for them is around the bend. And I told you all this, the price, 6 weeks long, all of it. And you're like, that sounds amazing. You got to do that. And I was just like, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
But it was given to me, right?
Yeah.
As something you feel the
Your
pull.
subconscious
Yes.
dropped it because suddenly you clicked into your
This
like,
is your next
this is
thing.
it.
This
Yeah.
is the thing. And this is also sort of, to speak of my zone of genius, where I knew this, like I knew the back of my hand because I lived this,
Yeah.
I breathed this, and I already had a lot of clients who had come to me for this sort of thing in which I was able to help, I hope help them on their journey and their process. So, I tuck it away and I'm just like, I write it all down, as
Yeah.
much
You
details.
remember
Yep.
being like, write it all down right now.
Yes, we
Yeah.
kind of wordsmith some of it
Yeah.
out. I met with another friend. I presented. She's like, this is amazing. You need to do this. She gave me her thoughts and ideas based on our original outline or my original outline that you had helped me kind of craft. And I sat on it because I have an upper limit about writing. I literally just do not enjoy it. I don't think I'm proficient. I just don't think I'm good at it. Not because I think I'm a better communicator using words, but writing, and I've gotten better at it through the years because I've written more little blurbs here and there. But anyway, I basically what I had to do was out myself.
Oh.
And I had to set myself a timeline, and I told people, this is happening. This is launching in the fall.
Yep.
This is coming. I like created a logo because I love doing that kind of artsy fartsy stuff. I created a logo and a little description with another friend's help. And I outed myself and I'm like, well, I've got like that much time to create this thing and I need to learn how to do it. And so I just kind of like was going back and thinking about my own journey with the outline that was kind of downloaded to me that you included to help me create. And I just started writing and kind of outlining it out and it just flowed. I
Wow.
was so surprised at how like the resources I needed, I had the tools, the things that like I wasn't sure what to put in there, they landed. And lo and behold, I made my deadline. And now I'm going to be revising the course so that it's a digital downloading option. Anyways, I stepped out of what was arguably one of my most like professional comfort zones of recent history. And I brought something from concept, idea, download into reality when I literally did not think I had the skill set to do it. I was on Fiverr looking for someone who wrote courses because I'm like, surely I'm not qualified. But this information was given to me.
Yeah.
This was
It lived within you.
right. This is me. How do I translate? Yes, I could, but I have to do some of this. I have to write some of this down.
You had to get out of your own way
Yes.
of holding it inside and
Yes.
put your fingers on the keyboard and type it out.
Yes, and I would sit and meditate right before I would write and just really allow myself to be in like the energy flow of just spirit and the universe and just be guided, and like all of a sudden stuff would click. Like you were saying
Yep.
with your business plan. Like the pieces of the puzzle just kind of magically fell in my lap, and I was like, "Oh, this piece needs to go here." And then I'd write a week, and then I'd refine it once I wrote week 2, and I'd pull things. And anyways, I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying like it's phenomenal. I'm not saying it doesn't need to be edited. All I'm saying is I had a major up limit, like a belief system that was held in place that I'm not a good writer. I can't do the thing. And somehow I pulled the magic rabbit out of the hat and it is alive and breathing and well.
And now it's allowed you to reframe how you view yourself as a writer,
Right.
as a content
I
creator.
still have limiting beliefs, so I have to push up against them
Yeah.
all the
and
time.
find topics that inspire you and flow effortlessly, because
Yes.
then it is not difficult.
Right.
Like when it's right, it's effortless. That's something that people really struggle to grasp the concept of. And it really goes to every concept in the Big Leap is like when something is aligned, it feels effortless. You
So
could do
true.
it forever. Wow. Like, yeah, guess what? I can tell you it's possible to live that way.
It is.
Truly is. And I would want that for anybody to pursue and find those places of peace and ease. So we talk a lot in like using those words, like we're going to do this with joy and ease. When we're traveling,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to go with the flow.
Mhm.
If it feels easy, brings us joy, we're going to move in that direction. If we find ourselves in a spot where like it's not fun, it's not easy, and we're not getting joy out of it, we're out of there.
Right.
We're not going to just stick around.
Right.
Like it's really transformed a lot of the way that I live. It's the Einstein time concept that we also did an entire episode on.
Mhm.
It's like, how can you live with joy and ease? And that's the whole point of the book. And by doing that, you can leap beyond your wildest dreams.
Yes.
You can attain like levels of life that you never thought possible.
I will say one thing, and I'd like you to talk about this, is I think you need a team of people
Yeah.
to help you identify those limiting beliefs, because I knew it within myself. I didn't share it. So then what I would do is I would share the content, and people would be like, "You got this. You said you got this. My God, you
Yeah.
lived this. Like,
Yeah.
this is like, you have literally turned this around for yourself." And so tell us a little bit more about like your daughter
Yeah.
calling you out.
Well, both of our stories are great
Yes.
examples that neither one of us came there completely on our own. There were other people in our life that were bringing to our
Attention.
conscious,
Yeah,
to our
right.
attention,
Mm-hmm.
and believing in us and supporting us. And so, actually, in the book, Gay Hendricks refers to it as the upper limit conspiracy team.
Exactly.
So
I love
a
it.
team of 3 people around you, 2 people, whatever it is, that is also inspired and engaged by this journey. They're on their own upper limit journey. But your role with each other is to call out when the other
Mhm.
is perhaps demonstrating or exhibiting an upper limiting belief. This is what we do in our mastermind group.
Absolutely.
We are that team for them. We
Right.
are their upper limit
Team.
conspiracy team.
Yeah.
And we'll hear it in the conversation around the table, and we'll say, here's what I heard from you. Like, is that real? Like, or is that imagined?
Right.
And so we are that for each other all the
Mhm.
time.
All the time.
Like, and if I hear you saying something, I'm like,
You called me out on something last week.
yeah, think about that.
Mm-hmm.
I
You haven't thought this through,
or
or
like
whatever.
you like to say, do better.
I literally want hats that say "do better" because
Do
I feel we should all
better.
wear them.
And my daughter was that for me. That January day, she even brought it up. She's like, we were standing at the sink washing dishes, washing champagne glasses, and
Of course.
she helped me see like, okay, Mom, now it's time to move past your upper limit. Now it's time to go to your next zone of genius. It takes other people. It's why we talked in our previous episode about incorporating your loved ones in this
Mhm.
process, like having loved ones on board and supporting each other in calling out upper limiting beliefs That's only going to make it happen faster.
Absolutely.
And so think about this, like as you're listening to us, sharing our stories, sharing about how we're involved in each other's stories, who in your life can help you, can
Mhm.
read this with you? What is
Mhm.
the little book club you can form where you read this book and you agree to call each other out in those moments or support each other in doing the hard things that push you past those upper limiting beliefs? Like that's really important.
Yes.
It's a lot to do it and see it in yourself, and it can be done, and we work at that. But
Yes.
when you're surrounded by a supportive team, oh my God, together you can do so much. And our
Right.
story is a perfect example of that. We have a
Absolutely.
podcast. Like, what is this? Episode 30 something? Like
Amazing.
we didn't know what we were doing
No.
here. We didn't know how this was going to
We
happen.
winged it.
We just decided that it was the next thing that was going to be bring us joy, and that
And
if it
yes.
would be effortless and it would
Yes.
flow, we would
Easy,
keep doing it.
fun.
And I mean, thanks to our producer, shout out to Asher
Yeah, he's amazing.
at the Duluth Podcasting Studio at the Duluth Creative Co. He helped make it effortless for us.
He does every day.
And every time we get together,
Mhm.
it just flows.
It does.
I mean, I-
We
in order for us to keep doing it, right?
Absolutely. So for us to how do we identify and stay, or no, how do we make a commitment to being in the zone of genius? Because it is a concept that can be, you're in your zone of excellence, maybe, and you're like, I'd like to get there, but I have no idea how to commit to it. So there are there's kind of 3 steps that we can go through here.
Because to again really reiterate, you're going to move in and out.
Yes.
Like you can be working in genius, and next thing you know, you look up feeling kind of excellent.
Right.
Time to up level, right? Like people
Right.
say that word all the time, up level, up level. So
Time to leap.
you're time to leap. You're always flowing in and out, but there are 3 questions you can ask yourself to
Yes.
really help identify where you're at in any given time. So share
Yeah.
that.
So what do I most love to do? And this is, I could do it so much that I can do it for long stretches of time without getting tired, without getting bored. This helps you distinguish exactly what you're saying from zone of genius, or from zone of excellence to zone of genius.
That was me on the 20-hour wedding day. Like nonstop. And that really is like thinking about that thing that you did when the time flew by, you never looked at your watch, and the entire time you were thrilled to be doing it. What fits that bill for you
hmm
other than watching reality TV?
I will say, for me, it's like little mini series with humor.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 2 question. What do I do in my work that produces the most abundance and satisfaction in the least amount of time spent? For example, even if you do it for 10 minutes or 10 seconds, maybe an idea springs forth or something like that, but something comes out of it that's of great value. Maybe you are laying in bed in Italy and you have a complete, utter download about a
Yeah.
course which you didn't think you could do, right?
Yeah. When I think about that, I think traveling, which may not be the least expensive
No, but I know what you're talking about,
route,
right? But I
right?
do.
But every time I take a trip somewhere interesting, I have profound revelation. Like
Yes.
I get return on that investment of going outside of my comfort zone or outside of my day to day, seeing how other people live, being inspired. I mean, from the design point of view, from history, like I eat it all up and I come home and I'm inherently different
hmm
and looking to how I can incorporate those new fresh ideas into my life. So like that is one thing that I'm like, it's always worth the investment for a lot of reasons.
Absolutely. And I will say, like, we talk about this in our masterminds, I believe, with our groups. Our idea and concept of how we wanted to run the mastermind came out of a trip that you and I took together. We were sitting in like a water spa,
Yeah,
Air.
we were in a
Most
spa,
amazing.
a water spa called Air. I know it's weird, but it's a true story. Look it up.
But it is amazing.
Amazing.
And it just basically flowed. The whole trip, it just, like, the idea came, and then we worked on it a little bit
Yeah.
later, and it was amazing. So I understand what you're saying about travel. Something about getting you out of your comfort zone. And then if you're working doing it,
Yeah.
on top of that, like, genius, right?
Yeah, think about those places that you could be in where it just minimal effort, maximum reward.
Right. Number 3, What is my unique ability? So is this is about what is the biggest contribution I make to people around me, but it's kind of a vague kind of concept. So there's a little bit more clarification here because you have to kind of dive in to think about what's my unique ability and how do I help people the most. You think about those Russian dolls where they fit into each other. So you might have to extricate out the Russian dolls to get to the meat in the center. It
Mhm.
might take you a little bit of contemplation and really thinking and doing a lot of exercising around what is the thing that I'm good at? Yes, I like this, but out of this, what do I like the most out
Mhm.
of this? And out of that, what do I like the most? Like I could just sit and do this all day and people like are eating it up. They love it. It's amazing. Time is free flowing. I'm making high dollars for what I don't consider to be maybe like a lot of effort. I feel like that is a really good kind of way of describing that.
At a retreat that you and I were on for our mastermind group a while back, we sort of did this exercise. I
Mm,
remember talking it through as a group and trying to peel the layers back again.
right.
It's a good analogy too. It's like with the unstacking the dolls or peeling back
Yeah.
the layers of the onion. And for myself, I remember boiling it down to I I am in my zone of genius when I am transforming people or things.
I love that for you. Yes.
Like, there's sort of 2 parts to it. It's like, it's helping people or transforming with people, and maybe in the case of helping them plan their wedding and
Mhm.
transforming that experience within them in the planning, or I'm transforming a place or a thing.
Yes.
Whether it's a renovation, it's a wedding venue, taking it from drab to fab,
Right.
like, and the 2 things working in harmony are where I light up. And that was really helpful for me to
Yes.
do that exercise and be like, "Oh, yeah, that's the place that I feel most fulfilled," and I can just
Mhm.
keep doing it over and over again. That then led me and allowed me to apply that to a building renovation. Like, I knew I could do it in a wedding venue, but I didn't know how then that would apply on the next scale,
Right.
and then I loved that to death. I had the best time doing it. I mean,
Mhm.
when your building inspector comes and you're just, like, doing a little jig because you had so much fun, like, they're looking at me going, "Nobody ever says that they loved construction." And I'm like, "I don't know. It was pretty great." So, but that was just because that was my like, where I was performing at my best, right? So then as I think about taking my next steps, okay, how do I take those 2 concepts and put them into my bridal gown store?
Right.
Well, in transforming people, I am helping them
Oh, yeah.
feel their best self
Totally.
in the gown that they're in. And I'm transforming a space to create that atmosphere for them to make them feel their best selves. And then I'm working with a garment that would, depending on the garment we put on them,
Mhm.
has that equation.
Oh, it's transformed their
So it's
body.
like, okay, if I take this thing and I put it on you and I've done the positive mental work with you and your group and we put those 2 things together, this should be a yes to the dress. If I mean,
I
that's my
cannot I
plan.
cannot wait to see your place. So I remember doing that exercise, and I think for me what came out of it was, yes, you and I both have a really similar love of transformation.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I love life coaching because that helps people when they're ready to transform their lives. We do that in the mastermind groups, whatever. But I think for me, it's about showing people their blind spots.
Oh.
I love showing people something they're not seeing when it's very clear to me or maybe the group around. I love the sense of having awareness drop in for people,
Yes.
like that light bulb, that bomb going off, like, holy crap, it was right in front of me and I never even saw it. And I don't want to hit them over a sledgehammer with it. Like, hey, dumbass, why didn't you get this? Right? Like,
Yeah, that probably wouldn't work well in your
right.
business,
No.
so
But I do have to say, similar to you, throughout my career, whether I had all of those employees at my commercial cleaning company, whether it was in a commercial real estate building, I loved people. I loved helping people come to see their own magnificence, their own inner light, their own like glory by just seeing the things that maybe they have blinders on to see. Because that's what's helped me so much. So
yeah.
like you like to help transform people that way and I like to help transform people in that way as well. It's just and also situations, working with buildings throughout the first part of my like the first 20 years of my career, right? But now it's really all about like, oh, those aha moments. Oh, that just gets me like just jazzed up. I like right now I'm
Yeah.
getting the goosies about it.
Yeah.
It lights me on fire.
And when you think about it, like we're two stories. We're similar in the things that we like. It's no surprise that
True.
we're friends and like-minded, right?
Right.
But like when I talk to my husband about his job and he starts going into the nitty-gritty of this
He's on fire.
like intense, I don't know what even say, like IT issue, right? And
Right.
he's just like so lit up telling me about it and I glaze over, right? I'm like, "Oh my God, I have no idea what he's talking about." Or
I get
say,
that.
somebody in the healthcare profession, like,
Oh,
"Oh my God, I don't think I could do it day in and day out." But we absolutely need them to be doing it. And
thank
they're
God for them.
passionate about
Hmm.
their jobs. Like, whatever job it is, there is someone out there that is uniquely suited to do it. So, thinking what that is for yourself and recognizing that if you really let that light shine, it can turn into your big leap and bring you the abundance that you deserve.
I love this. I love this. I could
Yeah,
talk about this all day,
I
but
know.
we're probably out of time.
Well, this has been really fun to do a series on a book that has meant so much to
Oh my
us, and
gosh,
I
yes.
hope that anybody who's listened to any part of this series has gotten themselves a copy and started reading it, and you'll see pretty soon it's going to be dog-eared on your nightstand, and every once in a while you'll pick it up and you'll read a chapter and you'll be like, "Oh my God, thank you for that. I really appreciate it." Also, highly recommend the audio
Oh,
version
it's
of
so
this.
good.
It's just easy listen to and just little stories, little snippets are really going to help position you for good decision making, feeling good about yourself, and pursuing big leaps by passing through upper limiting beliefs and into your zone of genius. Cheers, friends. You've just finished another episode of the Heart and Soul podcast. We hope that you've enjoyed the show, and if you've loved it, we would love if you'd leave us a 5-star review on whatever platform you're listening. You can find links to leave that review in the show notes, where you'll also find other resources that we reference on our show. And if you think a friend could find value in today's episode or any future episodes, please share this episode with them on social media. This is one of the only ways the podcast can organically grow, and we just can't wait to connect with you and all of your besties. You can also find Monique and I on our many social media platforms or our websites, and we're going to leave links to those in the show notes as well. Thank you for listening. We look forward to sharing our hearts and souls with you again next time. With Heart, I'm Mariah.
And with Soul, I'm Monique.